It says we're going live, and it says we're live. Tell us, are we really live? Let us know. Can you hear us and can you see us? I'm so curious. Is the audio and video quality okay? There's already 40 people here. Hi, friends. Okay, Kara's here. Sherri. Every time we've gone live, we've done this a number of times, and Sherri always streams it on her phone as well.
So I can see comments and stuff like right in front of me.
A couple things. Jessica Violet, I added you as a moderator to our channel. That's how much we trust you. And Shannon, you are also a moderator. If anybody else in here, well, I'll look for people to be moderators. We're thankful for our moderators because we've had some trolls even today.
Yeah.
Big time, actually, on both of our channels. And it's kind of annoying. So anytime you go live, I just expect, you know what, Vanessa, I'm adding you as a moderator as well.
Yeah.
Anything that is questionable, just get rid of those fools. Okay? I very much am a delete and block forever kind of person. I have no problem just getting rid of people.
There's something on the screen. Like I had a dot. Your computer's not a touch screen.
I like this, Shannon. You said, I'll be in charge of Jessica Violet. I wish we could assign moderators to specific people. Like, your job is to moderate Jessica Violet.
Yeah.
Okay, there's over 60 of you guys here already. I want to talk about what we're going to touch on today. We talked about how this is basically a Southeast Alaska live stream.
Mm-hmm.
We got back from, when did we get back?
Last Monday. Last Tuesday. No, that's a lie.
What is Sherri doing?
Struggling.
Wow.
Wednesday?
So we've been back for a while.
Tuesday, I work Wednesday.
So we've been back.
Yeah. It wasn't last Monday or Tuesday because the Zackers were here.
It's been a week and a half.
Yeah, it's been almost 2 weeks.
Almost 2 weeks. We're going to talk about our Southeast Alaska travels. We're going to tell some stories from those trips that you guys saw and did not see in the videos. We're going to tell you just about how we booked the trip, the things we took. We'll even talk about cost. But this is not just a planning live stream. So if you don't ever think you'll make it to Southeast Alaska, still hang out.
Right.
Because
we're just going to tell behind the scenes stories.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Corla.
Hi, friends. Got home from the mountains just in time to catch the live stream. Hi, Chantel. Sherri, your hair looks so cute. Not one person has commented on my hair.
It's covered with a hat. You can't see it.
We are, wow, rude. We are going to touch, I saw one comment about how Auburn's feeling. We will touch on that later. We'll talk about it. I mean, it was something that happened. We're not going to dwell on it.
Right. It wasn't the only thing that happened. There were tons of other things. There were whales on this trip.
You guys.
And that is a lot more impactful than falling off a bike.
It has become kind of an inside joke with us, though.
Anytime, like, something bad, look at all the people saying, what hair? You guys are a bunch of...
Yay, Jessica.
Bunch of jerks, okay? Bunch of jerks. Everyone looks, thumbs up. Thank you, Shannon. That's what I wanted to hear. Almost 100 people in here.
Yay.
A lot of people.
A lot of people. Okay, so we're going to wait just a couple minutes before we get started. We're going to let more people join.
You're going to sit here in silence?
Yep. You guys, this is going to be silent contemplation. I want you to reflect, okay, and go. No, we're not going to do that. That's boring. As an extrovert, I'm already bored.
Half a second.
You don't know how to be quiet.
We do want to talk about a milestone that this lady hit on her channel.
Oh, I thought we were going to talk that I'm, done with my school for a week.
That too. And then you have one
more term
left.
And then she's done.
Done.
With your first master's. And then we start looking at...
I need a drink.
I'm kidding.
Just
you guys...
coffee on him.
Yes, was it yesterday or this morning? You hit your subscriber goal.
This morning.
Or milestone. 1,500 subscribers over on Auburns Channel.
That's big.
It's such a big deal.
Missy is laying over here licking herself.
It's gross. Some things we don't share, Sherri. Some things, this is why you guys mostly see me. This is why you guys mostly see me on the vlogs. Some things we don't share.
Well.
Hello from Cleveland, Ohio. Okay, over 100 of you guys here. So 1,500 people subscribe to Auburn's channel. If you have not subscribed, go subscribe.
No, don't.
Go subscribe. If you have not subscribed to her channel, go subscribe. That's so... You hit 1,500 subscribers and you started your channel...
Last year. Yeah.
A year and a half ago.
February 2020.
March, April, May, June, July. Less than a year and a half ago. That's so good. So cool. All right. Missy has a twin here. Somebody moderate Sherri. That's what I'm saying. Can we get one person to moderate Sherri and her inappropriate licking comments?
Let her be. This is her channel.
I can just leave.
Nope. For those of you guys who are joining us here and did not join us on Instagram right before this, Sherri also has a squeaky bra in this live stream.
I do, and I don't know why. It's creaky, not squeaky.
Oh, creaky, not squeaky. So, Sherri's wearing an old wooden bra. Abraham.
Sounds dangerous.
It does, and uncomfortable.
Sounds like split.
That's not what I'm wearing.
Sounds like splinters.
It's creaky, and I don't like it.
So cool to see her on the news. You guys.
That was actually
That
really
was
cool.
so fun.
Can we talk about how that happened? How that came to be?
I got a message request on Instagram from this guy, and I looked at his profile, and it's funny because he actually went to school at Mizzou. He studied at the School of Journalism in Mizzou, which I thought was really cool because that's, I used to live near there. But he was like, can we use this video for a news story? And so I signed the release, and he sent me the link to the news story. It's so cool. I had no idea.
She's in twice.
Like NBC
You
Nightly
see her
News.
thumb,
This wasn't like
and then you see her half face.
This wasn't like just like a local podunk town news. Like this was NBC National Nightly
This was
News.
really cool.
It's a big deal.
It was
Yeah.
really cool.
It's very cool. So now 118 of you guys are here. Thanks for being here. Let's jump into the Southeast Alaska trip. Let's talk about this. First thing we should talk about, why the heck we went to Southeast Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
You guys know Auburn was here last summer. And last summer we had things that we wanted to do. And we wanted to go to Southeast Alaska last summer, but just couldn't make it happen.
Yeah.
We had talked about it, and time just...
It was difficult to do much of anything last summer that wasn't an RV trip.
That's true.
Just because
we did a lot of road system stuff. It was hard to fly last summer.
Yep. Someone asked, Auburn, are you okay? We are going to get into that. I promise you. We are going to get into that.
Knock that out. I'm
Should
fine.
we?
I'm fine. I hurt, but I'm okay. How's that?
There you go. There you go. The physical things, apart from the ribs, are healing pretty well.
Yeah, the visible things.
The visible things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for those of you guys who don't know what happened,
When she coughs or sneezes,
we all kind of,
all feel
it's
the
like,
pain.
oh, are you okay?
Uh,
So, yeah.
She's like, no, I'm not okay.
So, Auburn is okay.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
She's on the way to okay.
On the way to okay.
Yeah, I should be there in 4 weeks or so.
One more month.
We went to Juneau
Yep.
and Skagway.
Yep.
Because we didn't make it happen last year.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that we got there, we used miles to get there, because if you live in state for travel in Alaska, and if any of you guys are Alaskan residents, whenever we travel in state, we normally use miles because it's so freaking cheap.
Yeah.
Like using miles in state is so cheap. It's such a good way to get around. And it's one of the things that I don't feel like Sherri and I have done enough is take advantage of how cheap it is to fly in state with Alaska Airlines miles.
Yeah.
So we went there on Alaska Airlines miles, and it's an hour and 40-minute flight from Anchorage to Juneau.
Yeah, it wasn't long at all.
No, easy. Like easy flight. The flight was full. It was a full flight. A lot of people going to Juneau. We got into Juneau late.
Sort of late.
8-ish.
Yeah,
I think.
8:30.
8:30. And we picked up our Turo. So let's talk about Turo for a second. I tried to find a rental car for weeks and could never find anything. Like I could never find any rental cars at any of the rental companies. I couldn't find anything on Turo. And then I saw this one rental car pop up on Turo, but it had like no reviews. It was like nobody had ever rented it before, which is always a little concerning to me.
Yeah.
Because I don't mind using like Airbnb or VRBO. If there's a lot of reviews and there's other people that have stayed there, that helps me feel better.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm the first person, I don't love that. And so, but we didn't have another option.
Right. There's literally nothing else.
Our plan was, if we couldn't get a rental car, was just to take taxis and Ubers all around Juneau.
Which when like once we were there, we kind of found out that's not
It's
even
really
great.
expensive.
It's really
Really
expensive,
expensive.
and you can wait like half an hour to an hour for them to even show up, and it's just like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Vanessa asked, how does Turo work? Basically, if you've ever used Airbnb, it's very similar. You rent the car, you choose the car, you choose your dates. There is an insurance that is included, but just like a rental car, you can add different levels of insurance, depending on what you want to pay extra a day for additional
But
cost.
it's people's personal cars.
Yeah, but you're covered under Turo's insurance.
Right.
And so, yeah, so there's insurance. I will say my first churro experience I thought was great. It was really easy.
Mm-hmm.
The car was actually pretty nice.
Yeah. This one worked out really well because the guy that we were renting it from was leaving the same time we got there. And so like he drove the car to the airport and then was like, here's the keys. It was great.
Yeah, and Mary asked a good question. Does your car insurance cover churro like it does the other car rentals? That's something to ask your individual insurance on, whether it covers that. So check with that because I know it's different from plan to plan. So got our car and then we went to dinner because we were hungry.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not a lot of places open late in Juneau. Like Juneau's not a nighttime city.
Right. Everything closes at like 6.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think there are a lot of independent travelers going to Juneau.
No.
Just like there's not a lot of independent travelers going to Skagway.
Totally.
And it almost seems sort of like a sleepy city.
Yes.
So everybody, wakes up, they go to work, they go out to dinner, and then they go home. So there aren't a lot of people staying out late.
Yep.
Right.
That's exactly right. I mean,
So it's like a cruise ship town. And when you board the ship, and the ship leaves port, it's like
Nothing
everything
needs to be
shuts
open
down.
because nobody else is.
Yeah, nobody needs it. So,
totally.
Yeah.
So when you get in at 8 o'clock, get the rental car. So we needed something that we could get into about 9
Yep.
and that would still be open.
Mhm.
And one of the restaurants on our list we wanted to go to was called the Island Pub, and it's in Douglas, Alaska, which is right across the inlet from Juneau.
Mm-hmm.
I'd been to the Island Pub before. It's super popular down there. Our friends Rance recommended it. A lot of people recommended it.
Mm-hmm.
It's, how would you describe it? Pizza restaurant?
It's a pizza restaurant.
It's like a dive pizza restaurant.
Yeah, that's a good description.
It's like a
Yeah.
dive.
They have a full bar, so you can get drinks, you can get shots, you can get pizzas. Pizzas are what?
Shooters.
Sorry, shooters. Auburn was corrected in one of our videos. Shooters.
Well, I think
Cynthia.
that they were called shots on the menu.
They were called shots on the menu.
I do like this. Cynthia, my attorney, says your attorney approves of your check with your individual carrier.
Yeah.
Cynthia's our LeggLife attorney in Las Vegas, and who basically keeps us all legal. Thank you, Cynthia. We love you. It's the best. So we go to the Island Pub and walk in, order some drinks, order some food items, and
Well, okay, we had looked at the menu for this place online before we went, and there were
Yes.
some beautiful words on this menu:
Mhm.
pizza and roasted
Alfredo
garlic.
sauce.
Yeah, and so there were some really
Wonderful words.
beautiful, wonderful words on the menu, and so we kind of had an idea of what we thought we wanted to do, but we wanted to ask if they did half and half pizzas.
Right, so we could order like 2 pizzas and get like 4.
because they had so many that looked good.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it was amazing.
And then I screwed it all up.
Wow.
Well, he panicked.
Okay, so here's the thing. So I'm used to when you ask for half and half, just the answer being yes, right? Or no, yes or no. Well, the server, she threw a curveball,
She's like, yes,
but she was like, yes, you can do half and half, but it has to have the same sauce, the same base.
which makes sense. I get it.
What I should have said and what I'll say next time is, oh, okay, could we have an extra minute?
Because we were looking at a couple of pizzas, but like one was like a marinara sauce and one was an Alfredo and one was a garlic sauce. And it was just like,
Different sauces.
different sauces.
There were a couple of sauces that could have been the same, and we could have done.
And just so we're clear, in this traveling trifecta, I am the least smart person. Yet I am in charge of the decision. And I panicked. And so I just ordered.
He was like, okay, we'll take the, and he just like,
Look at this and
ordered.
this.
And then she and I were like, is that even one of them? that we said
I don't
we
even
wanted?
know we were talking about that one.
We weren't. It
Yeah,
just,
we weren't.
we weren't. I panicked. And here's the thing. The pizza we had was still really good.
But it was 1.5 of the pizzas were covered in jalapenos, which I don't like.
Whoops.
And so I was like, I'm just going to try one of them then.
And I'm bummed because, was it the Alfredo that was so good there?
Oh my
The
gosh.
Alfredo was
Right?
amazing.
Yeah.
And that's actually
Ah,
2 of the pizzas that we were looking at.
I didn't order any of those.
You didn't order either one of them.
And we didn't get to go back either, which was the worst.
Right. We had planned on trying to go back and then we couldn't. And
So I botched our first dinner in Juneau. The moral of this story, my takeaway, let me give you my
Don't let him
takeaway.
order.
Or,
Kick him under the table.
or,
Leave him
Or-
outside.
yes, now we're getting
Or
there.
speak up and say, we'll need a couple of minutes.
We'll need a couple of minutes. We'll need a couple of minutes then. Because if I just would have said that, we could have regrouped, we could have circled the wagons and come up with something good. Instead, I was just like, and ordered something. I like this silly man doing a woman's job. But yeah, that was the first night.
It was fine. Both of the pizzas were still good. I felt like what was the one that we got on top? I forget. But it was
The one with spinach.
yeah, it was
Bland.
boring.
Yeah.
It was like a garlic oil base
Mhm.
and then like roasted garlic and spinach and jalapenos and something else on it. But like
Yeah.
there was really nothing on it. I even tried some of that. I just picked out the jalapenos. There's nothing on it that like popped with the flavor. Like it needed bacon or something on it or an Alfredo base.
It would have been better with the Alfredo base.
It needed something to like give it something.
It was good though. I mean, food was
was
still good.
good.
And here's the thing: I would go back there in a second. If we went back to Juneau, I would let them order. That's the thing. I would let them order. And then we went back to the hotel we were staying at. It's called the Aspen Hotel. It's a local hotel chain. It was one of the cheapest hotels. It was nice.
It was nice, yeah.
Right?
Very
Nice.
spacious.
Clean.
Yeah.
The rooms were big,
Huge.
which I loved. It was located out by the airport. Just so you know, Juneau kind of has the way Juneau is laid out is a little bit weird, right? So imagine like a longer island, and there's a downtown part of the island. And then across from downtown is like Douglas, where we ate. But then there's an area called the Valley, which is probably a 10-minute drive away. That's where most people live. That's where Costco is. Out there's where the airport is. And that's where the hotel was. So we didn't stay in the downtown area. We stayed about a 10-minute drive away in a place called the Valley. And then further out, you get to like Auk Bay, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So the hotel, great. Next morning to me was the biggest disappointment of the entire trip.
I was really concerned about the rest of the trip after we went to breakfast.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
Literally every single person we asked about where should we go
Where
to
did we go
eat
for breakfast?
in Juneau, every single person was like, the Sandpiper Cafe is a must. You have to go there. And we were like, wow, okay. Like everybody was adamant.
So we go to the Sandpiper with good expectations because
Everybody recommended it.
everybody's talked it up. And we should have known from the beginning, because we walk in and the girl who is the hostess looks like maybe, I don't know if it was a bad day, a meltdown, but like in tears and walking really fast, not making eye contact, clearly
we're standing
disturbed.
by the hostess stand and she comes up and she fiddles with stuff at the stand, doesn't look at us
She's
at all,
looking down,
doesn't like
grabs
acknowledge
her
our
phone,
presence, grabs her phone, like looks at stuff, and then
went
leaves.
outside, and she's in tears.
And we
Yeah.
were like,
Uh-oh.
hi. Acknowledge our existence at least. Like
So-
just say, I will be right with you and leave. Like
But-
something.
So at this point, like I'm okay overlooking this if she's just having a really bad day.
Here's
Right.
the thing though. I have worked in restaurants and I've had really, really bad days.
Yeah.
Like the day I ended up walking out mid-shift. I get that. Like there's bad days, but you still acknowledge their presence at least. Like
Maybe she's got a phone
in
call that her
tears,
dad
there's
passed away.
something, I will be right with you. Somebody will be right with you and leave. Like something.
If the restaurant had turned around from that point, I would still be okay with it.
It just went down.
But they sit us down, and still we get ignored. And still we get ignored. And so then
And we had reservations.
Yeah.
we had reservations. And so then we order. What do you think of the menu? The food only, just like how the menu looked,
Everything
the variety.
sounded fine.
Sounded good.
It sounded exciting.
I was really excited about the crab cakes, and they were out.
They were out of the crab cakes, which Sherri wanted. So our food comes. The food all visually looked good.
It was very pretty.
Yeah, beautiful food.
It took an hour to get there.
This is one of those restaurants that is much better on Instagram than in real life.
Yeah.
Right? It's very Instagram worthy, but then it's like, oh, did they ignore other customers as well? Katie, yes.
There was a table
yeah.
behind me, and like as we were ordering, so we had been there a while, looking at our menu. We knew what we wanted, waiting for her to come back so we could order. The table behind us ordered, and then she came back to them like 20 minutes later and said, "Sorry, I forgot to put your order in." So they had placed their order with the waitress. The waitress forgot to take their order to the kitchen.
And okay, now again, like we can forgive. Like some people are just not trained very well. They were closed the day before for training.
For staff training, they were closed the day before. Yeah.
And she had 3 tables. Like I was paying attention to this. It's not like she had 15 tables and was completely in the weeds. Like she had 3 tables.
Yeah. So
What is she doing for 20 minutes? She wasn't with us. Why did she not put in the? I don't understand.
So needless to say, we won't be going back to Sandpiper. Somebody said, what did people that recommended say to you? Actually, one of our friend Rance, I texted Rance and was like, hey, like, he asked how it was, and I was like, it was terrible. He thought I was joking.
He was like, yeah, well, we know that's not true.
He was like, haha,
no,
no, that's not true. I was like, no, it really was. So
terrible.
Kind of surprised. Did they ever apologize or acknowledge it? No. In fact,
we had to, like, when we were trying to leave, we sat there for 20 minutes after we were done eating,
waiting for the check.
Waiting for her to bring the check. I got like a latte and it took forever. She got drip coffee.
I got drip coffee, and she walked around with a pot an hour after we sat down.
And never refilled it once.
She didn't refill anybody's coffee. She was just carrying this around the restaurant looking like she was busy. But I never got a refill.
She even said, I'll bring you a refill. And she never did. We were like...
And so for me, this is the hard part because I can't find one redeemable point that would bring me back there.
Not one.
You know, it's not like, I don't know. So to me, the whole thing was just really bad.
They didn't have stickers. They have
a really cute logo.
They have a really cute logo.
It's
of like a sandpiper in like extra tufts. And they're super cute. But like, so she was looking at shirts and stuff before we were actually acknowledged and taken to our table. And
I was like, oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, and I was like, you should just go buy it now. And I'm glad that you didn't waste your money.
So someone asked about the tip. Let me talk about how I approach tipping in this situation. So so my mom was a server growing up, right? And I know that there's families that are supported by that. And so when I tip, I normally start my tip at 20%. So what I do is I take the first half of the bill and then I double that. So if the bill was $50, I take the $5, double that, they get a $10 tip. So I start a tip at 20% and it goes up from there. I consider 10% a bad tip, but I don't feel like 10% sends a message because there's some people that tip 10%. And so I think I tipped, our bill was still like 60 some dollars.
I think you rounded it up to the highest dollar and called it good.
No, I think I tipped like $2.34. No. Some amount that was so little, it says a message, right? Like it was like,
I would have left nothing or just rounded it up. Like,
yeah, I feel like you have to leave something because if you don't tip, people just think you're a jerk that
exactly.
didn't tip. But if you tip something really small,
it sends a message. And when I worked in restaurants in Indiana, servers made $2.13 an hour when minimum wage at that time was $7 or $8 something. And so their tips really were like what put them up to minimum wage. Here, they make at least minimum wage, which is, I don't know what it is. 9, 10 something. And then tips on top of that. So I have a harder time tipping anything at all. I understand it's still minimum wage, but if you're just a really, really bad server, you don't deserve anything. Like I just get another job.
I'd be asking for the manager. The problem is that we would have waited another hour. And honestly, it was worth the $65, whatever the bill was, to get out of there and be done. And
I don't know that there was a manager on the premises. I didn't ever see. I saw every table being like, what is going on? Yeah. And I never, ever saw anybody who looked like they were in charge of anything walking around asking anybody.
So
I don't know that there was anybody there.
I do want to move on because we have spent a lot of time on this.
Yeah.
But Kara, to me, summed it up perfectly. She said, a cute logo and Instagram-worthy food will only get you so far. That's my takeaway.
Well, it gets people in the door.
Gets people in the door, they won't come back. And I would not go back for one next time.
And I would tell people not to go there.
Totally.
Like,
that's what we're telling you. Don't go there.
If you go to Juneau,
right.
I know you're going to read a lot of reviews on the Sandpiper.
Go to Fred Meyer and hit up their deli. Like, go get their donuts. It's going to be a much better experience.
Go to a Heritage Coffee.
Yeah.
Go there.
Anywhere else.
Yeah. Get the continental breakfast at your hotel.
Go find a beach and eat a rock. I don't know, better than that crap.
Faster, better.
Okay, so after that, we went to the. This is one of the things I was most excited about. We went to the State Museum, the Alaska State Museum, State of Alaska Museum. Was really fun. Sherri and I had been there before. You guys have seen now 2 vlogs from us before. Auburn, I want to know your thoughts on that museum.
If you are a museum person and you like looking at old things, then this is the place for you because it's kind of like you walk up and you're like, really, this is it? And then you walk inside and it's even smaller than it looks from the outside because there's a bunch of stuff crammed into this building. The museum
part is really only a section of it. There's like the library that's there. There's like all kinds of things in this building.
Yeah, but the museum part was really cool because they have a bunch of really cool stuff crammed into a tiny space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really amazing.
It was $14?
Yeah.
Like $14 for multiple hours
Yeah.
of good stuff.
We spent 2 hours in there. I think I could have spent 4 hours in there. I mean, it was really crowded in there too.
There was a lot to look at.
I was shocked by the amount of people in there. I mean, it was really, really cool.
Yeah.
One of the things I want to do when we kind of get through each section of this trip, so when we get to the end of Juneau, we're going to talk about the things that we did. I want to talk about the things for us that were like must-dos or things to avoid. So kind of keep that in your minds as we go through. I agree with the museum. The museum, to me, this is my second or third time there, and I love it.
Mhm.
I don't get tired. Even going back, a lot hadn't changed.
Right.
Still worth it.
Yeah.
Still worth it.
Mhm.
After the museum, we did the tram. Is that right?
No, because we walked around downtown first.
That's what we did. That's right. We walked around downtown. We did a brewing company,
Yeah, Devil's Club,
Devil's Club Brewing.
which was really cool.
Was cool.
Mhm.
We
I actually got a flight.
got it. Sure, you
Yeah.
get a beer flight. You're not a beer fan.
I'm not a beer fan, but they had a lot of really fruity beers, which I do like. So
I would say give them a second chance. Since you have friends that recommended.
I might do takeout. I wouldn't eat there.
Maybe that's a good way to do it.
they may have just had a bad day, but it was literally every single server and hostess and person in that restaurant. And so I feel like if any one of those people are still there, it's still going to be a bad experience.
Sherri is. Can you tell that Sherri is fired up
But
like
I've
this?
worked in restaurants and it's not that hard.
You could move to Juneau and have a job real quick.
It
I
wasn't
really
like
could.
they were lost. You know, 'cause
Yeah.
you know how you go somewhere
They
and
were
you're like,
just
oh,
not
they're
working.
new. These people didn't look like they didn't know what they were doing. They just looked like they did not care
Yes.
about anything
Yes.
or anyone. I'm just gonna take my sweet time
Mhm.
because I don't care
Yep.
at all.
And there weren't that many tables in there. It wasn't jam packed.
Right.
And the fact that our food took an hour means it's in the kitchen too. It's not just the servers, unless they just don't put
the order in.
So-
orders in.
we did go to the bookstore. That was one of the places that
Yes,
we did.
we
go.
did.
Now, in Juneau, we
You're
actually, I know,
I
because
know,
you will
I'm
stay
fine.
here. Sherri will harp on this all day. We went to 2 bookstores while we were in Juneau. We went to Hearthside Books, which was the first one. And the second time we came back to Juneau, flying back through, you guys didn't see this.
We discovered a second one.
There's a second bookstore
with
that
a
is,
dog.
that is
With a
much
dog.
better. Do you guys
That was
agree the
much
second
better.
bookstore was much better than the first one?
Yes.
And I think it's called Rainy Retreat Books.
Something like that, yeah.
And it's right downtown.
Mhm.
It
We
was
were
a good
like,
bookstore.
I like bookstores.
There was a baby gate in the door to keep the dog.
Keep the dog in.
So cute.
And I don't know if you guys heard this when I walked in. So we're kind of jumping ahead to the end of the trip. You guys didn't get to see this in the vlog. When I walked in, you have to like move the baby gate, and it's a big dog. I had to move the baby gate, and the lady who runs the store, whose dog it was, she like petted him when I walked in, and she said that he's scared of the gate because so many people walk in and like knock the gate over and it falls and it scares the dog. That when somebody comes in, she has to like reassure the dog that it's okay because he's scared of the gate. It's hilarious.
He was a big dog.
Yeah.
So
Like, he just laid there. He just like
Yeah.
he didn't do anything. He was just laying there.
yeah, so in Juneau, the bookstore you guys saw in both of our vlogs was Fireside or
Hearthside.
Hearthside, and it was okay.
It was
It was-
a cute bookstore.
It was fine.
I
I wouldn't go back.
did I buy anything? I don't think we bought anything.
I bought one thing there, I think.
Okay.
Where
I'll
did you
just
buy
read it.
Heartless?
There.
Is that where you bought Heartless?
Oh, I did.
Yeah, there.
Yes. Okay.
Adam, could you please point the camera down whenever you enter any store or point of interest? Your interest in handicapped. Mary, I can try to remember that. I don't always. Obviously, that's a hard thing to remember, but I appreciate you saying that. That's something we can be better aware of.
Yeah.
I will say we have tried to be really aware of that. Auburn does a much better job of this than I do, because even on hikes and stuff, she does a good job of filming the trail to try to show how accessible things are.
It's important to me.
Yeah.
I feel like most of Juneau was actually pretty, well equipped to handle handicap entrances.
I agree.
The shrine was not.
Yes.
The shrine was
The gift
not-
shop to the shrine was not.
Yes, correct.
And the shrine itself was not either. Yes,
No.
it was, because the back door.
Oh,
If
you
you're
could
gonna
go around. That's
you're
right.
Going around the back door.
That's right.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So did book shopping. We had some pelmenis, the Russian dumplings, and this
They're
place
so
was
good.
it was hilarious though,
It
my
was,
God, it was
so,
so much
funny.
because
The
it
two people working in there were hilarious.
Rich in personality, sort of like book characters.
rich in
Yes.
personality.
Yes.
Oh, like
That's perfect.
Very
they were
vibrant.
So fun.
You knew
Yes,
one
vibrant.
word into them talking who they were, what they believed. Like,
liked,
it was just
yeah.
like, oh,
So
I
much
know
fun.
who you are.
And you even knew their music taste because they were playing music. Were they playing music on records?
Records, yeah, they have vinyl records in there, and you can go in and like play your own record too. I think to me, it's one of those places. it's just a fun experience. The food was good. It was cheap.
Yeah, the food was really good.
So
They make one thing. Yep, 2 ways. That's it.
There's no menu. And actually, you
There's
pointed
no
this out.
menu.
There's no menu. So when you walk in, you don't you have to ask.
Yeah. What do you have?
What do you
we
have?
were wishing they even had something even just like taped to the counter. This is what we have. This is what's in it. It's it. Like it's one thing, but
Yeah.
it's something. Because then she just like rattled off what was in it.
Mhm.
Yep.
But
So after that, let's talk about the tram. We go to the tram. This was one of the things. This is one of the most popular things for people to do in Juneau.
Why?
For a few reasons. I think its location is a huge one. Remember, the vast
It's right
majority
down
of
by the
people,
port.
the vast majority of people who visit Juneau show up on a cruise ship, and the entrance to the tram is right where you get off of the ship. Listen, trolls, where are you at? I'm here for it. Jessica, are you guys having to like delete stuff? I hope we got. Oh, and our Z-roll is here. So now all of the whole moderator team. Shannon is here. Our Z-roll. You guys got this.
just my troll.
The tram. I'm trying to.
It was expensive.
It was $75.
Well,
for
it
3
was
nights.
$25 a
person.
piece.
Yeah, $25 a person. For what is a 5-minute ride?
If
Yeah.
that.
No, I recorded it on my phone. It was 3 minutes and 38 seconds to the top.
Okay.
And at the top, there's no nice observation. The best views are from the tram, which is a 3-minute ride.
Yeah.
It's not like when you get up there, there's this like glass floored observation deck with these amazing views.
Well, okay. We went still COVID, right? So they're not exactly limiting. They kind of are.
They said they were.
But I got a clip of it. There's a sign in the tram car that says it fits 60 adults. I have no idea how they fit 60 people
Because
on
I think
there.
they were putting 20, and I still felt like
If they fit 60 people in there, you would be getting to second base with like 4 people at one time.
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
Like you would be very close with numbers of people.
Fast Pass Tram, yes, you can hike up, and then you can take the tram down for $10 a person.
The hike, it is 1,800. It is sea level to 1,800 feet.
2.5 miles.
2.5 miles.
And
up.
it's like up. Like I had trouble with the tram.
You did. Let's talk about that because you struggle with heights.
I don't do heights very well, and I don't do open cars. Like this isn't open. I mean, it was closed, but it was still like you could feel it moving, and I was not okay. Like I walked in, I sat down, and then I went like this.
She did.
And I looked down the entire ride up and down. Like I didn't look out at all.
Not at all. No, not at all. So you get to the top and it dumps you into this building where there's a gift shop, there's a restaurant. The restaurant was closed, but the bar was open, is what they told us. And so I guess normally it'd be much busier, obviously.
Right.
The main draw, at least for us up there, were the hiking trails. So we get up top, they have like a little nature center, and I mean little, like it's a 1-room building basically.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like nature center is it's a stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's
And it
like,
was more of a gift shop.
it really was. Yeah, it was like another gift shop.
Yeah.
But they have maps all over about these different hikes you can go on. Now keep in mind, this was because you guys know Sherri's still getting better. We didn't know how much Sherri was going to be able to do because this is like one of your first outings as far as physical activities since you've gotten sick.
Yes.
And so we didn't know how much. So we kind of just started walking. We took one of the easier trails. But you did the whole thing. The trail was
Almost the whole thing.
well, we didn't go up to the cross.
Right. So it said that it was a half-mile hike. Ain't no way it was a half mile. No way.
No.
We went way more than half a mile.
Yeah.
By the halfway point. Like
Yeah.
halfway up, and then it was still another quarter mile up to the cross and then back down. I don't know how long it actually was, but it was not half a mile.
Yeah.
But we ended up not going all the way up to the cross because bugs.
Oh my
I feel
gosh.
like I actually could have. I needed to rest. I was getting a little bit tired, but I felt like I could have made it up to the cross with a little bit of rest. But the bugs were swarming.
You guys, let's talk. Okay, let's use this to talk about. Let's talk about the bugs on the entire trip because this is something we want to talk about.
Yeah,
They were really bad.
so bad.
Yeah, the
They
bugs.
were worse in Skagway than they were in Juneau, and Juneau was bad. You can actually see, especially in Auburn's videos of Juneau, you can see them flying in front of the camera.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
It was bad.
It was really
Super bad.
gross.
And so, so the bugs were really bad. We were not prepared for that. We didn't bring bug spray with us up the tram. We should have.
You know what's funny is that I found bug spray in my bag.
The bag you had with us?
Yep. Like when we got home and I was unpacking my bag, in like one of the front pockets I had.
How much do you love us?
I mean, apparently I don't love myself much either because
This reminds me of the scene in the movie Dumb and Dumber where they're like going through the Rockies and he's like,
Losing
oh, you want
his
to?
hands.
He's like, you want to borrow one of my pairs of gloves? I have 2 pairs.
I think
Couldn't
the
want
hike
more.
was about 2 miles.
2 miles sounds right.
I think the hike up at the top of Mount Roberts was about 2 miles.
So mosquitoes, but also these horse flies.
Like as big as probably Adam's thumb. They were huge.
Yeah.
And I have a big thumb. So then we did the tram, hiked around. It was really pretty. Like some of the views were really pretty.
It was really pretty. And you know what's interesting is that when I'm up like that on a mountain, I don't mind.
Looking out.
I don't mind the height. I think it's floating over
Hanging.
this thing that can fall and I will die.
Yeah.
If I'm standing with both feet on a trail and looking out at something, I don't have a problem with it.
Fast Pass fam, could kids do that hike up? I would say if you're saying the hike from the base of the mountain,
Probably
not. Because
If
there
you
was
take the tram up and do the hike at the top.
And do the Alpine Loop. I think
Then, yeah.
I think kids could do that. Yeah.
Definitely.
It was in Auburn's vlog. You actually got an image, I think I'm remembering this, of the sign that goes down. And it was saying like, this is the trail down to the city. And it basically said like,
Good luck.
that
Don't attempt this without
Go at your
lots of
own risk.
time, lots of water, hiking boots. Like this is a big deal is basically what the sign was saying.
yeah. So
Don't take this lightly.
it's not a stroll. I will say that.
Yeah.
So we do that. And then for dinner that night, we went to the hangar. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hangar at the wharf.
Hangar at the wharf. It sits right on the water. And the hangar at the wharf kind of redeemed,
Yes.
because remember, the breakfast was a terrible experience
Yeah, we'd lost all faith in serving
In
and
Juneau.
in Juneau.
Juneau
Restaurants.
and food. Yeah.
We're like,
Yeah.
maybe this is just the standard in Juneau. I don't know.
Because nobody seemed upset at breakfast but us. Like
Yeah.
we seemed like we were the only ones that were like, this is weird, right?
Yeah, but then at dinner, like we had the best service.
He was
Yes.
great.
He was
so
fast.
good.
We were there for a minute.
He's like,
And he
"Wanna
was
drink?"
like, what would you like to drink? And he just like, he was on it.
The food
Yeah.
was good. You had tacos that night, right?
Yes.
We always something different.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
had the tacos. I had like
Fettuccine
fettuccine Alfredo. What
I
did you have?
genuinely don't remember.
A burger? What did you have?
I have no clue. Do you guys remember what did I have at?
Did you have a halibut burger or a salmon burger or something?
Let me know. One of you guys probably remember from our videos because I don't.
It was good. I think you
Um,
got like the blackened halibut or something.
Melissa says just logged on and getting caught up. Hey, there's that famous lady from the news.
This one.
For those of you guys who are just joining us, since we have over 150 people in here now, actually, I'm going to use this chance because this is the opportunity. This is the most people we've had in here. Auburn was on the NBC Nightly News last night. They used a couple clips from one of her travel videos in a national news story. So if you haven't seen it, we posted it over on the LeggLife Facebook page.
Did you really?
Yeah,
Yes, we did.
of course we did. We're proud of you.
It was a fish sandwich.
And see, I knew
Halibut burger.
you guys know our channel better than I do.
Yeah.
The second thing I want to add is yesterday, Auburn hit 1,500 subscribers on her channel. This morning, that is a huge milestone.
Yeah.
But I want to ask, I think it'd be cool if we got her even higher. So if you have not subscribed to Auburn's channel, that's what I want you to do. I want you to go subscribe to Auburn's channel. You're doing a great job. We're really proud of you. Sherri's leaving. I don't know. She's probably, Sherri, what are you doing?
Well, Missy was stretching,
Got stuck.
and got stuck on the curtain, which she's not supposed to put her nails in anyway.
She's a moron. So, okay, let's continue with this. Day, are we good being done with that day? Oh, wait.
So,
The whale.
well, the whale. Was that the whale day too?
That was the whale day.
The whale statue.
The whale statue.
Statue, not the real whale.
So, on the waterfront in Juneau, Juneau has built this statue of a whale
I can see it.
that is stunning.
It's so cool, and it's not even to scale. Like
Yeah.
it's 50. What did it say? 50 feet shorter.
Yeah, it's pretty close, but not quite.
Or
to
no, like the
scale.
actual
Not
whale
50
is 50 feet,
Yeah.
but it's
It's close.
I don't know. It's close, but it's
Yeah.
not even actually to scale. It's huge.
Yeah, it was. What'd you think?
Stunning. Like this is the only chance you're gonna get to take a picture like that.
Yeah.
It looks very real.
Yeah.
It is not a real whale.
Down to the barnacles.
but it
on
looks
like
very real.
A number of you guys messaged us and said, at first, I thought that was a real whale.
it
And I was like,
looks
oh my
like
gosh.
a real whale.
Yeah, which I thought was real. Deanna, you were one of them. But we had so many people. Message us and say that they thought it was a real.
And as we're walking up, it had like this little water thing, and she and I, you can hear it in the video, we both like gasped and we're like, oh my gosh. And it just kind of like went up and then stopped.
Yeah.
But then it was like, I think on
20 minutes later or something
10,
like that.
10 minutes, I think.
Okay.
It did it again real quick, and we were like, oh my gosh. And so they kept walking and like looking at other whale facts kind of things. And I was like, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to wait for this thing again. So I was like watching. And at the next 10-minute mark, it went on and it stayed on for like
Well, and water came out of all of
all
the
of the places.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh. And so we got that on camera as well. But
It was stunning.
different.
it was so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that kind of ends day number 1 in Juneau, the first full day at least.
Yeah.
Day 2, this to me was my favorite day of the entire trip. This is the day Mendenhall
Even more
Glacier,
than 4th of July.
the shrine,
Yeah, for me too.
the cruise to
Oh.
Skagway. This day, I genuinely don't know how this day could have been more perfect. I don't know how.
It was pretty amazing. Well, and what was funny is that we started the day with me being very tired and sore from the hike the day before, and I just felt like the day before was just like go go go, and I was exhausted. And so I was like, today is going to be like a slow day for me. And then we did all of the things in that day.
Yep. Kimberly
I
said,
was
a
like-
friend just recommended your channel. We're going on a 2-week tour in a month. I can't wait to see the whale.
Ooh,
Kimberly, well,
nice.
good time tuning in because we're going to talk a little bit more about Juneau, kind of our must-do things, all that kind of stuff here in a second. So yeah, we wake up. Sherry's sore because remember, the day before,
It was really the first time I'd done anything physical to that extent
yeah. So we knew.
since I've been sick.
So we
And
knew you were going to have to kind of take it easier that day.
We did not take it easy.
You took it. I mean, you didn't do the hike.
I
to
didn't do the
waterfall.
hike out to the waterfall, but
Yeah.
like everything else was.
Yeah, and so
It's still a lot.
It was still,
still
a
a
lot.
lot. So we went to Heritage Coffee
Mhm.
for breakfast that morning.
Delicious.
It's a local Juneau coffee roaster.
Mhm.
It was good, right?
Yes, very good.
And then we went right out to the glacier. And so Sherri and I have been there before. Auburn, I want to know, because to me, Mendenhall is striking. I want to know, what did you think as we're kind of pulling up, as you finally get to see it?
Do you remember my reaction to Mountainous Glacier
Yes.
last year?
Yes.
This gave me those feelings.
Mhm.
You know,
Yep.
Like
like
it was closer.
it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful.
It's stunning.
It's so cool.
And the setting is so amazing because there's that lake and then the glacier and the waterfall on the right.
Well, and they did it like was it Parks and Rec?
Mhm.
Did a really great job of setting this park up so that there's great viewing, there's like great trails, and the visitor center is stunning. It was set up really well and very, very like clean,
Yes.
Yeah.
clear. I really enjoyed visiting it.
Yep,
Yeah.
for sure. And so we went to the visitor center and we went up. That's where Sherri hung out because we knew that we wanted to do the hike. There's Nugget Falls, which is
Yeah.
off to the right-hand side of the lake.
And it said a
Massive.
mile out, mile back, so like a 2-mile round trip hike, and I didn't think I could do another 2 mile.
So a couple thoughts on the hike. Number one, I have no doubt, and Auburn and I talked about this, that
I
Sherri,
could have done it.
if you were feeling better that day, and next time we go to Juneau, you can do this.
Right.
It was a flat trail. It was
Very clear, no roots,
Yes.
no rocks, no litter.
no like incline road. Like it
No.
was pretty level.
It was very flat.
and
I would even say that it's like stroller friendly.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
I would say that.
And to me, it has one of the biggest payoffs because you can tell the waterfall is big when you see it from the visitor center,
Yeah.
but the closer you get, and then you kind of like dump out into this little area in front of it, and you just like your eyes are lifted up because it's amazing.
It's huge.
The people look like ants.
and it's so loud. Like it's just so, it was so cool.
It was
I
wish that I had gone. Like
yeah.
once you guys got back, I was like, let's go back. Like could you do it
Yeah.
again? when they were just like, you could totally have done that.
Yep.
It made me want to go, but
That just means we have to go back to Juneau.
just means we have to go back.
So Auburn and I, they had said it was an hour. And I think I said this in our video. They said it was about an hour trip. And
45 minutes round trip.
45 minutes round trip.
Yeah, because it's about a mile out and a mile back, but you're going to spend a ton of time out there
Yes.
taking pictures.
I
Taking
didn't feel like you
videos.
guys were gone very long. Like
Neither did
Neither did I.
I sat down in the visitor center and I like colored some pictures on my phone and Mary,
That's
thank
really
you
sweet.
so much.
Mary, you know what? Today is National Ice Cream Day, Mary. And gosh darn it, we actually may use that tonight to go get ice cream at Wild Scoops.
You might need to do that.
Thank you, friend. You've always been generous to us, and we really appreciate that.
But so I like colored some pictures on my phone and then I opened up my book to read it and they were back and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I guess we're done.
Yeah. So the waterfall was stunning. We get back, we hung around a little bit, we took some more photos, kind of down by the glacier, and then we go out to the shrine.
Mhm.
This was the part that I was the most excited about, only because, and I talked about this in the vlog, that I can't explain it. I'm not Catholic. You were raised Catholic, right?
Mhm.
Went Catholic school growing up. And so for me, there's a lot at the shrine that I didn't understand. In fact, honestly, for Sherri and I to go with Auburn really meant a lot because you were able to explain some stuff to us and we've
Right.
always wondered.
Mhm.
And so that made it even more. But there is something about that place.
It's holy ground.
Holy cow.
It was so beautiful. Like I was vlogging and I couldn't talk because I was like in tears.
Yes.
I was just like, I can show what's happening here, but it was so beautiful.
And yeah, and that was my second time there and it just, even just like driving into the parking lot, you can just like feel there's just peace.
Mhm.
And like the closer you get to the shrine, like walking out to it, it's just like,
I think one of the things that I think about a place like that, and I said this it was funny. I said this in the car when we were leaving, and Auburn said, "Did you say that in the vlogs? If not, get out and film that." And I said something similar. They do mass at the shrine.
We weren't there for it.
We weren't there for
Were
it.
we there on Friday?
We were there on
Saturday.
Friday. Saturday.
Saturday.
Most churches have a reverent feeling. I agree. I will say that this is different, though. This is different than most churches I've been into. There's a different feeling there, and I think that one of the dangers when people visit Juneau is to say, "Well, I'm not going to go to the shrine because I'm not Catholic, right?" Or this isn't like I'm not somebody of this faith, or I'm not somebody of faith.
I don't think you need to be.
I think that every person should be able to go and visit there and just like stop and
Find peace.
find peace in that
Mhm.
space. And so I would say that if you visit Juneau, and again, we're getting closer to like, we'll give our whole wrap up of things to do in Juneau. I think it doesn't matter what your faith is. If you go to Juneau, take time to go to the shrine and just like be there.
Yeah.
I remember a friend of mine once, we were talking about sacred spaces, and he said there are some spaces that you go and consume, and there are some spaces that consume you. And to me, this was a space that like I feel consumed when I go there. Like that space just engulfs me.
Yeah.
Did they have prayer candles for you to donate?
Yes, they did, but they only had like 12 of them. So
Yeah.
it's funny, in the church, I don't know, Vanessa, if you're Catholic or not, you've probably been in a Catholic church. You know how you usually walk in and they've got like a little closet for like a confession room, and they might have like a robe room for servers or for, the priest or whatever. This was just like one big hall full of pews, and at the front was the altar and the tabernacle, and that was it. Like there was a door behind the altar that I think was the handicap entrance, because in the back it was stairs. So the back was not handicap friendly, but like the whole inside of the church was. So but they had like a little table, like a little movable table with a tool chest full of tiny little miraculous medals. It was so weird.
Yeah.
And like a cash box.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
It was so interesting.
Doug, thank you for that super chat. $5.18. Jessica Violet's legacy will live on forever because of all of you. I will say that. Like, because of all of you, her legacy will live on forever. Doug, thank you, friend. Also, happy late birthday. So the shrine, we went to the gift shop, we walked around, and then we left, and it was, I don't know, to me that stop was just about perfect. On the way back, we had time for lunch,
Mm-hmm.
and we had planned on going to a place called the Auk Bay Cafe, which,
Another recommendation from a bunch of people.
yep. And as we were driving out to the shrine, you drive through the town of Auk Bay, and Auk Bay is just outside of Juneau. It's where the harbor is that we got on the boat. And there's not a lot there. Like, there's a few buildings, but there's not a lot.
Like a strip mall with some restaurants in
Yes,
it and
exactly.
shopping, and that's it.
But as we were driving by, you, like,
I looked out the window. Whoa, what's that?
I was like, that looks like a brewery.
And it was with Sasquatch theming called Forbidden Peak Brewery. Now, we did have a question in the chat. Like, what was your favorite
I
brewery
saw
in
that.
Juneau?
Yep.
This one's not in Juneau, but this was like the Auk Bay
Yep.
Brewery, and it's Forbidden Peak Brewery. Definitely, like, hands down, my favorite.
Mind you, the 3 breweries we went to
Devil's
Alaskan Devil's Cub, Devil's Cub, Alaskan Devil's Club, and Forbidden Peak. Forbidden Peak was my favorite
Already
too.
like, what?
I don't know what just
What is
happened.
happening?
The food in Forbidden Peak was interesting because it was like they had outsourced the kitchen. So
Yes.
there was a different like restaurant in the restaurant. It was so cool.
Yep.
And their food was fantastic.
It was weird, but it was good.
It was really
Can we
good.
talk about the pretzel?
Let's talk about the
The
pretzel.
pretzel was
The pretzel was
pillowy.
an added on
Oh
thing.
man,
The pretzel to me felt like a bagel. In
Yeah.
pretzel form.
Yes.
that's a good way to put it.
It wasn't like
It was
harder
That's a good way
very,
to put
yeah, it was very pillowy,
perfect.
but still
Excellent.
like perfectly salted. It was
So good. Let's talk about masks. Good question. Masks in Southeast Alaska.
A lot of people are still wearing them in Juneau.
Yep, Juneau. Most businesses. I don't think were there any businesses where they were required.
no.
Devil's Club,
Devil's Club. Yep.
Yes.
the museum.
Yep. The museum, you had to wear them.
Mhm. I felt like most of the places had the sign that if you're vaccinated, you don't need a mask. If you're not vaccinated, you do. Yeah, I felt like most people were still wearing masks
Mhm.
inside.
Well, and we did too.
Yep.
Yeah, we did too.
Totally. And so we go to Forbidden Peak. Beer was great. Food was great. Honestly, it was one. It may have been the biggest surprise to me.
Their merch was fantastic.
Uh-huh.
It was so
The
crazy
venue was clean and huge, and they had outdoor seating.
in Auk Bay. That
It
was
was
the thing that
actually
was
what caught our eye was the
Yeah.
outdoor seating because it had like
Bistro
the
lights.
bistro lights and it was just like this. You drove by and we were like, "What is
What is
that?"
that? Can we go there?
It was so
Yeah.
it was so strange because I remember walking in being like, "This is an Auk Bay."
It felt like an Anchorage venue.
Yes,
to me.
completely.
It felt like how do I say this without offending like Southeast Alaska? Stylish,
Yeah,
like
Right.
hip.
Yeah.
cool.
yeah, totally.
It was very, very more posh than I expected. Very, very surprising.
It was very
Mhm.
nice.
Yes.
So then we went and dropped off our Turo and caught a taxi to take us back to Auk Bay, where we just were, to get on the boat. Now, let's talk about getting to Skagway. Deb Medford. Is Auburn booked yet?
no.
Okay, I got to
There's
tell.
money towards booking.
I got to tell this story real quick. Here's, yeah. Can we put that to the camera? So here's the thing. We're trying to get Auburn to book the viewer cruise.
I already have a camera.
Oh God, we're trying to get Auburn to book the viewer cruise, and Debbie is the best. That's so funny that you said that. Jessica, you have to run, or you
Bye,
can,
friend.
or you can cancel whatever you're doing.
It's true.
I'm kidding. So, all right, there's a couple ways to get to Skagway. I've grown up in Alaska, and Skagway is one of those towns that I've always felt like the only people who go to Skagway are people who come to Alaska on a cruise, or people who are driving to or from Alaska already. They're like coming to Alaska or leaving Alaska, and like drop down on the highway and stop by there. Skagway is not a town that Alaskans vacation to.
Are we moving on to Skagway already?
Well, I'm talking about how to get to Skagway.
Okay.
And so getting to Skagway is not easy. So when I started looking at how we would get there, we really had 3 options. We had the Alaska Marine Highway System, which is a state-owned and run ferry system, which is not always the most reliable, which is not always the quickest. They don't have a lot of boats, all of that kind of stuff. And then the second way is a company called Alaska Seaplanes, which is just what it sounds like. It's small Cessna charters from Juneau to Skagway.
Mhm.
And the third way is a company called Alaska Fjord Lines. It's a small family-run business. They have one boat that started as a a ferry between Haines and Skagway, and it's grown into Alaska Fjord Lines. They have a 50-passenger boat, like a nice little catamaran. And my original plan was to book us on the Fjord Lines to Skagway and then seaplanes coming home. Seaplanes was just a lot more expensive. Honestly, that's what it came down to. It was going to be several $100 more to do that. And so just decided to not do that. So we did Fjord Lines both ways.
Mhm.
Let's talk Alaska Fjord Lines, because I am such a freaking fanboy now for them.
I think if we go back to Skagway, I would do it again. Like, that is how I would want to go. I don't care if there's free tickets on the seaplane. I am going on the field.
Well, and you don't
Fjord
even
Lines
like
again.
boats.
You don't like boats?
I don't even like boats. First of all,
Good point.
let's discuss my little patches.
Good idea.
So I talked to my doctor and I said, I am going on this boat trip and I am always seasick. Please help. What can I do? Because I've done like the Dramamine thing and it just does nothing. Like, I'm still sick. And so she gave me these patches, and you just put one behind your ear and it lasts for 3 days. You put it on like 10 hours before, but I just put it on the night before. And I had no problems. None.
Shocking.
No problems at all.
Well,
Yeah.
going up there, it was pretty smooth.
Yes.
It was very smooth. And so part of me was just like,
It's not working.
I don't know if it's really working. I don't
Yeah.
know if this would have bothered me before. But a little aside, with the Zachmans, we actually went to Seward and did an actual like whale watching cruise, and really, really bad seats. Really,
It
really,
was
really
really-
bad. Like, we caught air a few times.
Yeah.
It was bad. But I still didn't get sick with these little patches.
So, big fan of the patches.
big fan of the patches. So anyway, we did the boat.
Yep. And the thing I love, just cost-wise for 3 people from Juneau to Skagway, round trip was about $800. Which, okay, could seem like a lot of money, but here's the reality. It was both our transportation and essentially
entertainment.
And a complete sightseeing cruise.
And they fed us.
And they fed us.
Yep.
We saw more wildlife on our cruise from Juneau to Skagway than we did on our whale cruise out of
We
Seward.
did. It was really kind of sad.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. This was fascinating to me. They told us more often. Now, obviously, they can never guarantee whales,
Right.
but they told us more often than not they see them.
Mhm.
Like, this is not a rare. We didn't get the one boat. Like, go follow Alaska Fjord Lines on Instagram.
Mhm.
Look at what they post.
Right.
It will blow you away.
Well,
Right,
they
so
see
we were-
whales often enough that they know where to look for
Yes.
whales.
Right. So
Which is
yeah, we were
fascinating.
talking to Dylan, who is one of the like boat hands, and he was saying like it's almost every day that they see whales.
Yep, without a
Like,
doubt.
what?
So, we had a whale experience on that cruise that I will remember the rest of my life.
Yeah.
We saw, how many humpbacks did we see?
4.
4 humpbacks. But to me, the 2 that really stood out, there was a mom and her calf.
It was the cutest thing. So you see like this giant back kind of come up over the water, and then you see this little one.
Big bump.
And it's really interesting because I've watched your vlogs on it. I've watched ours. It's so hard because the video does not do justice, and the video can't capture what you feel when you see that.
Right.
So many feelings.
Oh
So,
my
yeah.
gosh.
Like I was in shock, because we had done the glacier, we did the shrine. So I was basically emotionally numb at this point. We got to Skagway and I was vlogging in my hotel room and I just started crying. And I was like, okay, gotta cut all this crap out.
I actually told Auburn, and this is, if you guys haven't gone and watched this, my favorite moment, maybe in any vlog you've ever put out.
Is the end of that first.
When you start vlogging in your hotel room, you can see the emotion in your eyes and the joy on your face.
I was so happy to be
And to
here.
me, it's such a pure moment
Mhm.
that I just don't think you normally get to see on YouTube, that I just so related to that. I was like, I could feel exactly what you were feeling in that moment. It was so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fjord lines, the fjord lines to me, if you are, yeah, wow.
Totally worth it. I would do it again and again and again. Like I want to get a job working on that boat.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, without a doubt. So
Yeah.
It was
amazing.
so cool.
Yeah.
And we even got to see like the tail like as they went down for a while. So it was like the back and then the mama's tail and then the baby back and the baby tail. And remember, like the entire boat was like, oh,
Yeah,
it was
it's
so
really true.
cute.
We saw lots of other stuff. We saw stellar sea lions. We saw sea otters. We saw seals. We saw lighthouse.
Tons of eagles.
Oh.
If you're looking for eagles, that is where to go.
Go to
Juneau,
Southeast
Skagway,
Yeah.
go down there. So many eagles.
Yeah, driving through Juneau, every time we were anywhere, like it was just tons of eagles, like on every light post. Wasn't there one just like sitting in the middle of the field? Like I don't know what it was doing.
In Juneau.
In Juneau.
Yeah.
Yep. We got to see one in the water.
We got to see it like caught a fish in the water, and we got to see it like flap up onto a rock and eat it.
And eat the fish.
Crazy.
Kind of gross, a little gruesome, but
But the fish was bigger than it could carry, and so it just sort of like carried it through the water and then like hopped up on a rock and was tearing it apart so that it could carry it to its nest.
So I know we're at 1 hour already, and you guys, we still have a ways to go. So stick with us because we still have lots of stories, including the bike story. We still have the bike story. Lots of other things we're going to talk about. So the fjord lines, just so you know, you get on board in Auk Bay and Juneau, and then they're kind of looking for whales. So it's sort of like a wildlife cruise, but it takes you then to the town of Haines, Alaska. In Haines, you drop off a few people, pick up a few people, and then go to Skagway.
We stopped for 10 minutes. If that.
It was so fast.
It was
so
just
fast.
Our captain got off.
Switch captains, which was hilarious, and his
daughter took over.
He was like, "Bar's open, so my daughter's taking over." Bye.
It was really funny.
So funny.
I do want to talk about, even though we didn't get off in Haines and experience Haines, pulling in, we all felt the same way.
It was so cool. It was like the perfect seaside town.
Yes.
Nicole, who owns Klondike Gift Supply and electric bikes, I think summed it up really well. When she described Haines this way, I was like, that's it. She said, if Maine and Alaska had a baby, it would be the town of Haines. And that's what it felt like pulling in.
Yeah, New England and Alaska.
It really did. It had like all of those like white kind of
white seaside cottages.
Yeah.
Mountains.
So
but just
cute.
mountains and glaciers.
Yeah.
I want to go back and experience Haines.
I do too.
I'd like to spend a couple days there.
It was a cute little town. I would like to actually go explore it.
Yep. So then we get to Haines, then we get to Skagway that night. Nicole picks us up.
Haines to Skagway is about half an hour.
That's right. It's a quick trip.
On the fjord lines. If you drive it, it's 7.5 hours.
Fun fact.
Fun fact.
Fun fact. That is true. So then we get to Skagway that night. Nicole picks us up, takes us to our hotel. We stayed at Sergeant Preston's Lodge. They really graciously put us up.
There's 2 rooms right next to each other. It was so cute.
They really were great because obviously really generous. Because when you travel, like there are a lot of costs, right? And if they hadn't have kind of come together to help make this trip happen, I don't know that we could have afforded to go. And so we're really thankful to them. It was, Auburn mentioned this in her vlog, it was originally a hotel, and then the owners of Skagway Brewing Company bought it to turn it into employee housing. But now they're a motel. But
and then employee housing.
Yeah, but now they've turned a portion of it back into a motel because they're trying to encourage independent travelers. Well, to get independent travelers, they need a place to stay. Right?
Yeah, and there's no place to stay in Skagway right now because everything's closed.
Yeah. And so I didn't know what to expect.
Right.
But when I walked in, I was really happy.
Yeah, it was one room. We had
Well, you have a room. I had a separate room.
Well, right. The room itself, it was one room.
Yeah.
It was a normal hotel.
It was a normal motel room, and then it had like a fridge and a really old school TV, which was really
Tube TV,
Tube
guys.
I felt massive. Like, yeah, it was really funny.
Me and my brothers
and then a bathroom.
It's true. So they put us up there, and then that night was July 3rd. We went to the Red Onion Saloon because we were hungry. We're like, let's go eat dinner. The Red Onion. We get there. We're not
serving food, but you had a drink.
So they weren't serving food, and so we stayed and had a drink. There was live music.
I had water.
Sherri had a water. That's right.
Cider, right? Yeah,
had cider. Yep. It was fun. It was a cool environment.
Loud.
It was
Very
loud.
Used to be live music.
Used to be a brothel. They still do brothel tours there, which I thought was interesting. We did not get to do that. No. And then we left. Did we ever eat that night?
No.
Oh,
there was
nothing open.
I feel like we had cheese balls. Like
snacks in the
that we had in our bags.
Next morning is 4th of July. This is the reason that we planned Skagway on this day, is that we had heard that for the 4th of July, Skagway really goes all out. And so it's like, you know what? Let's do it.
For a small town with like 1,000 people living there.
Well, completely.
Like, they went all out.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was, I struggled to think of how it could have been a better.
It was a Hallmark movie. First of all, the entire town is the setting of a Hallmark
It's
movie.
not real.
It's
I'm
not a
convinced.
real town.
Yep.
Lynn,
thank you.
morning
Aw.
coffee, maybe a little soup for Missy. Thanks for sharing your
She's already
time
had
and
one
stories
today.
with us. Auburn,
Don't
glad
want to
you're
tell
okay.
you she hasn't.
Thank you, Lynn. That's very nice.
The town was the cutest little thing ever.
Yep.
The people were,
Man.
all of them were Hallmark movie characters.
Yeah. There was an ulterior motive. It's like they were trying to sell the town to us.
It
worked.
In almost more than 2 days there, I can't think of one bad or rude or mean person I encountered.
No, I don't think so.
Right? There was like rude or mean.
Right.
Rude?
Yeah.
Penguin guy was a little rude.
Oh, Penguin Guy. Penguin Guy was influenced by the alcohol, I think.
And he wasn't from there. I think he was visiting.
Yeah. I feel like he's there. Ooh, a viewer party in Skagway. Don't joke about that. Let's make that happen. But woke
He
up on
was
4th.
so cute.
Woke up on 4th of July. I walked to this coffee shop, the Glacial Espresso. Is that what it's called?
We should have just opened a tab.
I should have given them my
We
credit
ended up
card.
going there like 10 times in the 2.5 days we were there.
So much.
Yeah. We
It's
went
good
3
coffee.
times on the 4th
We
of
went
July.
3 times on
Just on the one day.
the 4th of July. And the first time I
Yes.
went and got their drinks. Like you guys normally have the same sort of things. But then when we went back the second time, you discovered the specials board.
Okay, I always look at the specials menu. I want to know, like, what are you trying to sell me? You know, like,
Yeah.
what's the special today? What's the special drink of the day or the month or whatever? What's your super flavor, you know? They had a blackberry white mocha on
Wow.
the menu, on the special menu. It was so good.
And so we both got that.
Spectacular. And basically for the
So
rest of
good.
the trip. That
And
was the
then,
drink.
yeah, I got the blackberry Americano after that, but it was, oh my gosh. And then
We ordered the blackberry syrup.
I think before we even got home,
Yeah.
we were like, we need to order blackberry
Sherri went on Amazon and ordered the blackberry syrup.
syrup.
so-
we have some here.
So we have some here
Currently
now,
in the kitchen.
for sure.
It's so good.
Let's talk about 4th of July. What were some of the highlights of that day for you? Because it was the all Americana hot dog eating contest.
Pizza toss.
Tug of war,
toss.
pizza toss, right? Just like
That was the thing. I don't think that I could pick like a highlight. I think it was the whole thing that was just the perfect small town 4th of July.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of it, all encompassing. Like the pizza toss, the egg toss, the
Music.
music.
The live music in Skagway is to die for.
It was
yeah,
great.
right?
Yeah, so they had like, I think we got this on the vlog. They had a banjo and then somebody playing the guitar and harmonica and like
A
little
bubble
singing thing
machine.
with the bubble machine behind them. And so it was just like as they're playing their little song.
And they're like,
there's
no, this
bubbles.
is totally real. This isn't a Hallmark movie.
I was like, yeah.
You all are actors.
Yeah.
You know what I liked? And this to me sums up kind of the heart of the town, is everybody moved together and
From place
all
to place.
supported the different events.
Mhm.
So tug of war's happening here and everyone's there and you could see the huge crowd. And then there's like the spike driving, so everyone's there. And it wasn't like, oh, there's 10 people here, 15 people there, 20 people there. It's like everybody turned out. Kathleen,
Oh my gosh. Well, we have ideas for how to spread
jeez
some kindness there.
Louise, that's
Thank you.
that's
My
really
goodness.
nice. Thank you so much.
I'm so excited.
So many of you guys on here won't know, we are actually going later this month to the town of Barrow or Utqiagvik, the northernmost town in Alaska in North America.
What are we going for?
And this, I'm so excited, guys. I'm so excited. So this is a bucket list trip for me. I've never been. And are you laughing at me?
Yeah, you're so excited. It sounds like you're ready to go.
If I could make that noise, I would. Like I would.
Let's hear it. Let's try
So
it.
there's two things that I'm really excited about. The first thing is I'm gonna get to cross off a bucket list thing, and I'm gonna get to jump into the Arctic Ocean. And I'm so excited about that. These two think I'm ridiculous.
I'm excited to film you doing that.
I can't wait to jump into the Arctic Ocean. The second thing, though,
He's gonna take a bath.
Wow. Wow. Rude.
He's gonna need a bath after jumping into the ocean.
That's true. But really, the cooler thing that is really happening, a lot of you guys know Alaska, the land of the midnight sun, and that far north is really the place where the sun does not set. And so
for like 80 days.
Yeah, for most of the summer, the sun stays above the horizon. It is the midnight sun. But we're actually going to be there on the day where the very first sunset happens of the year.
Below the
or of
horizon
the
for
summer.
about 2 hours and then comes back up.
And so the sun is going to set for the first time while we're there, and we're going to get to experience that.
Yay!
And that to me is like, who gets to do that?
We will.
We will.
And that's so cool. So I'm so excited to get to go. And so Kathleen, thank you. That's really generous
That
of
is
you.
really different.
Yeah.
What were we even talking about? Kathleen just curveballed me.
Skagway.
Yeah, we were talking about
4th of July.
and Skagway.
Oh yeah, we were talking about wanting to take fresh produce. And that was one of the things that we noticed in Skagway. And actually, you guys saw the video. We did the grocery store tour, and I think that was all of the thing we were all so surprised about.
Mm-hmm. Most of the groceries were sort of comparable, like $1 or $2 more, but not like wow. It was the produce. The produce was much more expensive, but also just it looked terrible.
Yep. And so that
Like, oh.
you guys will see this because we'll do a similar video in Barrow. And in that part of Alaska, the prices to get anything that is fresh is even more astronomical, and things are just not available. And since we're all flying there and we're going to have extra suitcases, we thought, wouldn't it be cool to bring with us some things that people there could use for no cost, right?
Yeah.
Feminine hygiene products,
Mm-hmm.
fresh produce that's not tragically,
Yep.
wilted.
So we're going to get creative and pack that stuff. And Kathleen, thank you, because that will help without a
Yeah.
doubt. So in Skagway, the 4th of July, it was just all so good.
It was so good. It was so much fun. And then we stumbled on these chairs that were right
the
next
sun.
to, they had like a little
Outdoor bar.
Yeah.
kind of tent thing. And they had, what was going on? A hot dog eating contest.
Cornhole.
There was all kinds of stuff kind of happening right there. And there was these chairs that were just sitting there empty. And we were like, I'm gonna sit there, and we're gonna sit there until somebody tells us to move. And we sat there for like 3 hours.
It's also where we got sunburned.
It's where we
Let's
got
be very
sunburned.
clear, though.
Mhm.
She was smart and turned her chair around so her back was to the sun.
Smart.
I also took a nap.
You did take a nap.
Actually, can we talk about how I woke you up? Because so I went and got additional drinks, and while I was getting drinks, they also had food for sale. And I saw this order of onion rings, and these two both love onion rings. And they were too good to not bring back. So I got an order of onion rings for them
And a hot dog.
and a hot dog. And I came back, and Auburn was sleeping. And so I just like kind of onion rings.
He was like,
Auburn, I brought you onions.
and she was like, hmm?
And do you remember she just smiled?
Oh, that's right.
Like, it was so funny because she was like sleeping. I was like, brought you onion rings. She was like, just like so happy. And it was so funny. And
What a
so
way to wake up.
what a way to wake up. It was perfect.
It was such a good day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Mhm.
It
And
was-
didn't we even go to bed early that night?
Well,
We read.
yeah.
We read that night
Yeah, that's right.
because there were no fireworks to stay up for.
Nope. And we had done so much during the day
Mhm.
that I remember by like 6, 7 p.m., it felt like, oh my gosh, we've already had such a
Yeah, she and I were reading and like texting each other about our books. And I don't remember, we said something about him. And it was like 9:30 and you were out.
I was asleep already.
Like dead. And I was like, oh, he's asleep.
Yep. So
he's out.
So next day, so one of the things that I wanted to do in Skagway, that's probably the most known thing about Skagway, is the White Pass and Yukon Route Railroad. Huge famous railroad, started during gold rush times. It's now owned. Carnival is one of the owners of it, bought it a few years ago. It's a huge cruise excursion, but when I had looked, they weren't running while we were there. And I was kind of bummed about that because it's such an iconic Skagway thing to do.
Right.
Nothing.
It's the thing. It really is. Yes,
The thing to
it's
do.
the thing to do. But we found out on our first night or the 4th of
It was
July,
on the 4th of July.
was it? Nicole
Yeah.
mentioned it,
Mhm.
that they were going to run the train on the 5th.
Because there was a cruise ship in port.
The American Constellation, which is like a smaller cruise ship, was there.
Mhm.
And so they were running the train and asked if we wanted to do it. And Of course.
Yes. we
Yes,
do.
Right?
absolutely.
Absolutely.
I still have my little patch thing.
Yep. And so we had to be at the the railroad terminal to get our tickets at 9 a.m.
Mhm.
And so we were there. It was a little different trip than normal. So normally I went on their website. They do a thing called the Summit Tour. And the Summit Tour is what most people do. It's, I don't know, 20 miles up and then back, and it's $149. Ours was $99 a person, but we only went like 14 miles
Yeah.
Mhm.
because one of the bridges was out. So
One of the bridges was out,
Thank God.
and yeah, but
And the
also
border's
the
closed.
border to Canada is closed, so you cannot do that part.
And so, but we got to do the train. What do you guys think?
I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
It was a little bit scary to me. So it was interesting. So that on the way up, I was next to the mountain. I was like on the side that was not next to the drop off. But then they have everybody stand up, like at the halfway point, you stand up, you flip your seat, like the back seat, like flips over, and then they have everybody switch sides.
Yep.
So you're facing the way that the train is going, both ways, but then also you get the other side of the train, which was really smart. I was like, oh, that's cool. Like I actually thought the train would like turn around, but it's one track. It goes there and back. And so they flipped everybody, and then I was on like the drop off side, and that was super scary for me. I was like, because it is mountain, track, mountain. Like there's nothing.
Yeah.
It is a drop off, and I was like,
Scary.
I'm not okay with this.
The train was very clean, very nice.
Yeah.
Everything was in really good order.
The host or whoever she was,
Tour guide.
Mary.
she
Mary,
was super
yeah.
nice
Yeah.
and funny. Like she was really cute.
And she's the only tour guide they have.
Yeah.
They have one tour guide, and her name is Mary.
Yeah,
That's-
and she walks
she's it.
between all of the cars.
Do you know what I love? One of my favorite moments of the trip. Mary came out at the end of the trip and just said, I want to take a moment and say thank you for all of you who are here as independent travelers. Because if you didn't come here, I wouldn't have a job.
Mhm.
And I just thought she put voice to kind of something we all think in Alaska right now.
Right.
Right. And just for her to stand up and kind of say that, I just thought I thought it was really classy.
Yeah, I
what
think
it
she
said.
said like if you weren't here, I couldn't be here or something
Yeah.
like that. Like it was just like
And so it was just cool to see like that. Thank you. Because there were a lot of people who were traveling independently. And that was one of my takeaways from Skagway, and we'll get there in a second, was how I can't believe how easy it was to get there. Like it wasn't quick, but nothing in Alaska is.
Right.
So yeah, okay. So the railroad, great.
Yes.
After the railroad, we had lunch at an Indian restaurant in Skagway,
So
Alaska.
weird. Like you wouldn't expect it to be good, but oh heavens.
And it
What?
looked weird. It wasn't the right color, but it was delicious.
Yeah, the food was the wrong color,
Right.
but it tasted right.
it
like-
was really good.
And it was interesting because I hadn't thought about this, but George was telling us, George, who owns Klondike Electric Bike, and his wife Nicole, that there's a Thai restaurant there, there's a Filipino restaurant there, there's an Indian restaurant, and a lot of those restaurants are really supported by the ship's crews, right? The crew of the ships, the cruise ships that come in.
Cruise staff.
Cruise staff, thank you. The cruise.
The cruise crew.
Cruise. The cruise crews. And so that makes sense. It was great Indian food.
It was spectacular.
It
I
was
was,
good.
I was shocked.
Yeah.
In Skagway,
The
Alaska.
naan.
The naan
I will
was
dream
so
of
good.
that.
I do
It
agree
was-
with that.
Right. It was a garlic naan, and Nicole and George were both like, "You have to.
You have to get
naan."
it.
So we did. I think we got 2 orders for the 3 of us, and it like chunks of garlic. Like it's not just like a garlic oil that is sort of spread on it, like most I think Indian restaurants do. It was garlic oil and then like chunks of garlic.
Yep.
So good.
So after
We served really.
Sure.
Yeah.
So after lunch is actually when we went to the grocery store and filmed the grocery haul, which you guys saw on our channel.
Yeah.
And then we go to do the electric bike tour. Here we go.
Yay.
And so
I went back to the room because I said no thank you.
we knew that Sherri wasn't going to do the electric bike tour.
Mhm.
Like we had known that for basically the whole trip. Again, George and Nicole, who own that company, are the ones who really spearheaded getting us there. It was always the plan for us to do the electric bike tour while we were there. We get there, we kind of have a little bit of a safety brief. We do this like little, just like a little test
Test
ride. on the pavement out front of the store. Auburn and I head out with George and Nicole, and we kind of ride around town just a little bit, all on roads.
Which was the original plan.
Which was the original plan.
Just do like a town tour.
And it was, I'm not going to lie, from the beginning, I was sold on these electric bikes.
I had no idea what to expect from an electric bicycle. Like,
Yeah.
what, I don't even know what that looks like. And it looks like, rides like a regular bicycle, but it's like an electric assist. So when you pedal, like if it's on one, it, you know, aids you a little bit. But then like if it's on 2 or 3, it aids you a lot more as you are pedaling. So it's, you know, easier for you to get around, which I enjoyed.
I want one. Like I want to buy one so bad. I really liked it. And so we went out and then we kind of made one stop out by the water. And then Nicole asked if we wanted to go, you know, how we were with hiking. And we said, you know, we're fine with hiking. We'd love to. And so there's a place we went that took us down a gravel path. And we go down there and it was bumpy and there's, you know, tree roots and rocks and gravel. We get out to where the place we park our bikes and then we walk out. You saw in Auburn's video, a really beautiful area.
Short little hike, out to Yakutania Point.
Yeah. You are in Alaska at this point, right? Can we all agree, you guys? Auburn is basically in Alaska.
No, I just know all the keywords.
all the Alaska buzzwords.
Yeah.
So we hike out to the point, take a bunch of photos, really pretty out there. And then we are going to continue our electric bike tour and get back on the bikes and start heading back up the trail. And that's when the accident happens. Yeah. I don't know what else. I mean, there's everything to be said about it has been said on Auburn's channel and our channel. It was not fun to watch, and I'm sure it was even less fun to participate in.
Well, I didn't get to see it from your perspective.
That's true.
It was pretty scary.
Yep.
Not gonna lie.
So, but as we said at the beginning of this, Auburn is feeling better. You're healing.
Yep.
The worst thing now is your ribs.
Yeah, fractured ribs, but they're getting better. Everything's fine. The broken camera has been replaced, and it's in the mail. So
there's a new camera on the way.
Yep. Watch survived mostly.
Got some scratches.
Got some scratches for sure. You did lose a shirt.
It was a brand new
bought
shirt.
a shirt in Juneau that's so pretty.
We were in Juneau. We went to the Alaska Shirt Company.
It's so frustrating.
Shirt supply company or whatever, and I bought a new shirt. It's really pretty. I was wearing
It's like
some
a
new shirt.
periwinkle. It's a
Yeah.
really pretty color.
Tore a hole in my shirt.
2 big holes. Like
2 big holes in your shirt. Can I show them this photo? This is a photo we took out because we did like the photo shoot out on the rocks. And you guys look at how great the shirt is.
It's
Right?
so pretty.
Look at that photo. Isn't it great? Well, that shirt now has rips. You could be like the lady in our recent vlog that just like cut part of her shirt out. Some of you guys will get that because you saw it in our video. Anyway, so that happens. We get Auburn back to the hotel room.
He texted me.
I was really busted up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he texted me and he said, "We're on our way back. Auburn fell and is apparently," he said, I think pretty banged up or something like that." And I was like, "Oh no!" And so I immediately like run outside and just wait for them to get there.
Yeah, and so I don't even know where to go from there. So basically, the rest of that night was just kind of being with Auburn.
Getting me to stop crying.
Yep. It was traumatic. And I think that was an appropriate response. And so we just hung out at the hotel that night. We ordered pizza and mozzarella sticks. You guys saw that in our vlog. And then, and then the next morning, how did you feel the next morning?
I hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we didn't talk about this. I don't think we talked about this. We made some changes to our trip a little bit. The next morning we got back on Alaska Fjord Lines. Neither of us vlogged. It just didn't feel appropriate.
I didn't need to vlog. Broke my camera.
That's true. And it just, I don't know, it didn't feel appropriate to pull out the camera at that time. There's a time when it just feels like you're supposed to be together, not record it. And that's what it felt like. So neither of us vlogged that. When we got to Juneau, we didn't really have a plan for what to do because we got to Juneau about 11 a.m. Mm-hmm. And then we didn't have to be back in the airport till like 6:30 that night.
Mm-hmm.
And so we didn't really know what we were going to do. We couldn't find a rental car.
Right, again, no rental cars, nothing even on Turo. We were like,
Yeah. And so our plan was just kind of to like maybe walk around town or find something to do or go back to Mendenhall. But because of the accident, it really felt like, you know what, like this is a good day just to rest.
Well, and the taxi was sort of financially,
Crazy.
prohibitive. Yeah, we couldn't. Okay, the taxi was $35 to take us out there plus $17 a person.
Yes, per person to drop you off at the glacier.
So $35 plus 17 plus 17 plus 17.
Yep.
For
I was like,
20-minute ride?
Yeah, for a one way.
well, yeah, then we'd have to get back out to there, and we were just like,
Yep.
It was really expensive.
Totally.
So we stayed in downtown.
Yep. So we got a hotel room at the Baranoff, nicest hotel in Juneau. There was a guy, I think his name was Rodney, who was so helpful. I called Rodney the night before, and he took great care of us.
Mm-hmm.
We were able to,
we needed a place just to put our stuff,
and just kind of
really,
really to rest and just be.
Yeah.
And so he was able to get us in early to the hotel when we first got there because we were there before check-in. So as soon as we got there, we took the bus down to the hotel, which was great. Put our bags in the room, and we just kind of walked around downtown Juneau.
That's when we found the other bookstore.
And that's where,
Yeah.
it ended up.
the Red Dog Saloon.
Yeah, the Red Dog Saloon. Honestly, I'm really glad that day worked out the way it did.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like that was still a good day.
It was relaxing, which I think we all needed.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, Auburn needed it, but I was exhausted too.
Yeah.
That was a lot. We did a lot.
We
in
did
just
a
what,
lot
what,
in a
4
few
days.
days.
We did a
5
lot.
days?
Yeah, we did a lot.
Yeah, so it was really good for all of us to just
Take some deep breaths.
take some deep breaths
Yep.
and
Slowly.
sit slowly.
Kevin, Auburn shirt replacement fund or bandage fund. Okay, I've got to say it. So you guys know Auburn. So somebody asked on one of our vlogs. You never know. Nobody knows what I'm going to say. Somebody asked in one of our vlogs or one of our live streams, like, "Hey, can we Venmo Auburn for a new camera?" And hold on, you didn't just like undo the live stream.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Sherry's just pulling stuff out. It's fine. And so here's the thing. Auburn was so good. She was like, it's weird to put a Venmo out there. And so she's like, no, I don't want to do that, which I respect. But the agreement I had with Auburn is that what was given in this live stream that was designated for her, she can use for camera fund. So Kevin,
Hey.
3518, it gets to go to Auburn and she can use that. Also, she got to 1,500 subscribers last night. How awesome is that? Go subscribe. Anyway, so Juneau, I thought was really good. It's so funny. People love you.
Yeah, and that's enough.
Okay, we'll be done. I got it out. That's what matters. So then we fly back to Anchorage, and that's kind of the end of that trip. Now let's talk about the things. Let's start with Juneau, and then let's talk about Skagway. Let's start with Juneau about
the things, the must do.
That's what I want to do. The must do things. So the main things we did in Juneau were, and these are kind of things that tourists do: the State Museum, the Shrine, Mendenhall Glacier, the tram, the whale statue. Those are kind of the big things we did.
Mm-hmm.
Of those things, like what are the things? What are the must dos? What are the skips? What are the maybe in betweens? What do you guys think?
I would for sure skip the tram. I wouldn't do that again.
I felt like it was pretty, but it was so expensive. Like $25 for a 3.5-minute ride up. It just didn't. I don't understand why they feel the need to charge. I felt like it could have been a $5 charge.
Well, it's a business. I mean, they have to make money and pay for it. So I mean, I get it.
It costs $25 times 60.
Yeah.
Every trip.
Here's the thing I will say.
I feel like no.
So I agree with you. I would skip the tram. However, I understand why that tram is so popular. I think it was you and I were talking about this.
It's right there.
It's right there. So if you get off the cruise ship and maybe you can't do a lot of adventurous stuff, right?
Yeah.
Maybe because of mobility issues or accessibility issues, just getting out and doing a lot of things can be difficult for you. The fact that you can get off a cruise ship and almost right onto a tram that takes you to the top of a mountain is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's pretty cool. For the fellow Chiefs fan. Ron!
How about them Chiefs?
How about them Chiefs? Is that what the chant is? Is that what you say?
That's what Andy Reid says.
Was that what it is?
How about them Chiefs?
He also says, how about them burgers? I love Andy Reid. I know that's not what we're talking about. I have a crush on Andy Reid.
Yeah, me too.
100%.
I just want to take him out to dinner.
For Auburn. Call it an investment in your vlog.
No, stop.
Good job, everybody. Love you.
This is why I didn't want you to talk about it.
I know people love you. What do you think about the Juneau stuff? What else would you skip, Samantha?
I would definitely do the museum again,
Yeah.
but I would definitely designate 3 hours or more
That's fair.
before I go, just because there was so much densely packed history in that place.
Yep.
Mhm.
I mean, they had the first Alaska flag.
Mhm.
What else do they have in there?
That's my favorite piece in the whole thing.
They had some really cool stuff in there.
They had some really cool. They went into detail about the gold rush stuff. They had a whole section on the gold rush. They had a whole section on statehood.
Mhm.
My favorite thing, my two favorite things, the flag is just what a unique thing.
Yeah.
But those Russian possession plates,
That
the one
really
that was in the
cool.
floor,
Yeah.
they said that Russia had those up and down the coast. There were like 20 of them that they know of, at least. And this was the only one they've ever found. That's fascinating to me. It basically just says this land is the property of Russia.
Mhm.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. I think the museum was a must. What about the shrine?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I would like to go for church.
Oh, that's a dream.
Like, I would love to go for Sunday Mass, but I would just be a disgusting sobbing mess the whole time. Just because I imagine it's so beautiful. I'm really curious what they do for music out there,
Oh yeah.
because there was no space for music. No,
There's
like,
no organ. There's no.
no piano. I didn't see any speakers. Like, do they just play it on their phone? Like, what do they do?
Interesting. Yeah. I don't
I
know.
wonder if it's an acapella. Gosh, can you imagine that in that space?
Mm.
It's stunning. But again, I think, and I agree with you. To me, the shrine is a must-do. I would love to go to mass there. But again, I think no matter what your faith or any faith is, I think it's a place just to go and experience. The
Mhm.
beauty of the setting, if nothing else, the beauty of the setting is worth it.
Yeah.
Right? It is spectacular.
Yeah.
So we're all in agreement on that. Mendenhall Glacier.
$5 for a day pass. You can spend all day there.
I would go several days in a row, is what I would do, and I would do a different trail every day I went.
Love that.
So I would do like the museum and do Mendenhall Glacier one day and do like one trail, and then I would do the shrine and do another trail at the glacier, because like there were so many trails there, and we did one of them,
Yep.
and it was really pretty easy. Like
It was. Yeah.
and there's so many people there that
Yes.
I would feel safe from like bears for the most part. 'Cause,
100% agree.
like bears aren't going to attack a great big clump of tourists. you
Right.
know?
I did hear in the what was it?
Visitor Center?
Yep, that's the word I'm looking for. It was like the place I sat. One of the people who worked there was talking about how they had a brown bear with cubs that was hanging around for a while, and they ended up calling.
To relocate.
Yeah.
This is the first time.
Because-
This is the first time Auburn and I are hearing about this.
Yeah, she didn't tell us this
Wow.
just now.
Well, but they relocated it because there are families with children that
Mhm.
are, and kids kind of running around everywhere, and
There were people
they
everywhere.
didn't
Yes.
want, specifically, they didn't want children getting unknowingly between this sow and her cubs, and they were like, this bear's got to go. So they did relocate mama and babies.
Yep.
Because of that, just to keep that area kind of safer for people.
I do understand why it is the most visited thing in Juneau for tourists. Like that, the glacier is the number one thing, and I get why.
Mhm.
I get why. It's beautiful. I do think even if you're not a hiker, you don't consider yourself a hike.
At least go out there and look at it.
Yeah, and the falls to me is more of a walk than a hike,
Oh, for sure.
right?
Yeah.
And so like, don't let the term like hike to Nugget Falls dissuade you, because it very much.
Which is what it did for me. I was just
Yes.
like, I can't hike 2 miles.
Totally agree.
But
Deb, you're so nice.
Auburn's new view.
We do joke though that Deb's daughter Michaela is trying to like secretly off Auburn. Oh my God, what if Michaela was behind the bike?
She placed.
What
the
if
rock
Michaela
specifically.
called ahead and was like, "Do you have a faulty bike I can rent for my friends?"
We
Sorry.
place a large rock in the middle of
The joke.
Yeah.
So what else did we miss in Juneau? Was that everything? The shrine? Oh, the whale statue.
The whale statue.
I think it's a
If
must.
you have time to like walk around downtown, I do like the bookstores. Both of them were super cute. The Rainy Retreat was better.
Yeah.
But it was just, they were both just cute bookstores. The breweries downtown were nice.
Do you Do you all feel like we had enough time, or do you wish we had more time in Juneau or Skagway?
I wish we'd had one more day in Juneau. Like that little food truck area. There was other things I wanted to try there.
Yeah.
What are you laughing at?
Deb, she wasn't with me. She said she was at dance camp, but that's so funny.
My hair's everything this evening. Thank you.
I want to talk about one thing before we start. And people love you.
Chantel.
LeggLife community, I just want to say how proud I am of you guys. I love you guys. You guys never, ever, ever cease to just blow me away. I want to talk about one thing before we start to wrap this up. Skagway, we have heard from so many of you. I know you've heard from people as well. When we heard we were going to Skagway, everybody says, oh, I've come to Alaska. I love Skagway. It's my favorite town we visited, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to encourage you to do something. Because if you thought you loved Skagway on a 6-hour or an 8-hour cruise stop, imagine how much more you will love it if you actually go there and spend more time.
Spend the time to actually look at the town. Because if you're there for a few hours, you get to do one or two things. The whole town was so cute, and everybody was so nice. Yeah, I would encourage, go and stay, because there's so much more you can do.
That was one of my takeaways. Is I just remember thinking how much we just spent a couple days in Skagway, 2.5 days, and I want to go back so bad.
Yeah,
because of how great it was. And
I just want to go hang out at that coffee shop. It was such.
I just got a text from my mom, and she has an idea of what we could skip the next time.
Oh, let me hear it.
The mosquitoes.
Oh my gosh.
The bugs.
Horrible.
The bugs in Skagway.
It's so
I did not
annoying.
notice them much on the 4th of July. They were there, but I didn't notice the swarming.
I did.
You did?
Yeah, they got me.
They were so bad.
I just remember the morning that we left, I felt really bad because we were Nicole picked us up and took us back to the port to get back on.
We're just
on the boat. And I was finally I gotta go. I just started walking away. I was like, if I stand here anymore, there will be nothing left of me.
Mm-hmm.
These bugs were eating me alive.
Yeah. I think
it was bad.
I think that if you are somebody who's open to the idea of traveling independently, to do what we did, to fly to Juneau, to spend some time, to take Alaska Fjord Lines, which basically you're getting a whale cruise, right? It's not just transportation to Juneau. You're getting a whale cruise.
Depending on when you go.
Depending on when you go,
But
you're getting wildlife, all of that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. They know what to look for.
And so
they do it every day. Glenn would sit back in his chair and drive with his feet.
So
it was hilarious.
It was such a good experience.
So
This was one of those trips where I will never forget this trip that we got to do. I had such high expectations, and it exceeded all of them.
Yeah.
And Auburn and I were talking earlier, maybe it was on a live stream, I don't remember, how even with a hard ending to the trip with the accident, when we think back to this trip, that's not what we first think about. It was such a good trip that even something that hard doesn't taint this trip.
All I think about is Mountainous Glacier and seeing the mama and the baby whale and the shrine. That day was 2 or 3 days just smushed together. We did so much that day.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Samantha, what is the easiest hike? Because I can't walk too much. Samantha, to me, Nugget Falls. And
If that's 2 miles, and if that's too far, I would say just go to the shrine.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When we were in Skagway, we did the Yukon in a van. Our tour guide had done it for 25 years, and he actually created the statue that was in Auburn's blog. That's awesome. Auburn, glad you had hiking boots. Or would sneakers be all right to wear on the trails? What a good question, Kelly.
I would wear something that is non-slip and also waterproof.
Love that.
So I don't think you need hiking boots, but I think it's a good idea for hiking boots. Just wear something that's comfortable.
Yes.
That's going to protect your feet. Don't wear something like mesh sneakers. Don't wear those. Wear something that's going to cover your feet a little bit more.
Especially because you don't always know if it's going to be muddy.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, Melissa, you summed it up really well. You said I have FOMO now regarding Skagway because when we had a cruise stop there, we immediately got on the train and bus to the Yukon. Barely got to see the town, and now we feel like we missed out. Here's what I'll say. No doubt what you got to see was beautiful and it was amazing, and I'm glad you got to see that. Skagway's not going anywhere. Go back and spend a couple times.
Don't plan an excursion. If you're there on a cruise ship, don't plan an excursion. Just walk around the town.
see the town, do
But
the
if you
stuff.
can go as an independent traveler, just
Oh.
go, spend a few days.
100%. Favorite type of transportation? Good question, because did we make we have a list, right?
We did plane, car, tram, more car, boat.
Bus.
Yeah, we did boat, bus, train, bicycle.
That's right. This is all in like a 5-day period.
Yeah.
Favorite transportation mode?
The boat.
The boat.
I think the fjord lines.
The fjord lines.
Yeah.
Alaska
It
fjord
was
lines.
just so cool.
I will promote them forever. I was impressed with everything about that operation.
Mhm. Everybody on there was nice. I mean, the people that worked there, like Glenn was super chatty. He was the captain.
Yeah.
Dylan was really nice. What was her? Libby
Libby.
took over for Glenn as his daughter, who's also a captain.
Yeah.
And she was nice and
Very
chatty, and yeah, they're all like super chill. Like none of them are. It was just
They're boat people.
they're boat people.
Yeah. What a
They
good way to
grew
put
up
it.
on the boat.
Yeah.
They're boat people.
It was great.
Yeah.
So, any other thoughts about Southeast Alaska? Travel, things that I missed, things we should talk about?
Something you packed that you were glad you packed.
For me, it was my hoodie, my long sleeve, because I normally would not pack that because I'm somebody, and I think one of you guys even commented on this in the Zachman's vlog that we're out on a glacier in the rain. The Zachmans are freezing to death, and I'm just like trouncing around in shorts like a moron. Like that. Okay, rude. But that's just kind of me. I just don't get cold. But one of the things that I always forget is how cold it is on the water and the wind. You know, especially if you're close to glaciers or if you're that kind of stuff. And so I was really glad that I thought ahead and packed that I had long sleeves put on.
Yes. I'm glad that I had layers because I just think like 4th of July, it was chilly in the morning. And I had on like jeans and then our t-shirts that we made and then a sweatshirt. And then about, I don't know, 10:30, 11 p.m. Or a.m. I was just like, it's too hot for a sweatshirt. So I took off the sweatshirt and just had the t-shirt. And I'm glad that I was able to do that. And then on the boat, having the sweatshirt and my rain jacket and a hat and mittens, overpack. Like, just do it.
Samantha, the answer to your question is just what Sherri gave. What would you suggest to wear? Layers. Short sleeve t-shirt, long sleeve t-shirt, raincoat, light jacket, because you can always layer up if it gets cold. You can layer down if it gets hot. Yesterday was 81 here in Anchorage. We didn't need all that stuff, right? But then previous Saturday on a boat trip with the Zachmans, it was like 4 degrees
really
and penguins.
I didn't
It
go
felt
outside
like
at all on that whale cruise.
Yeah. And so what
I
about you,
was too
Auburn?
cold.
What's something you were glad you packed?
The rain jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice to have a layer to protect me from like rain.
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
wet. Yeah. From wet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there something you wish you would have packed? Good question. Something you didn't that you wish you would have?
An extra pair of pants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well-
she and I both, like, we had like we both packed 2 pairs of jeans. We had worn the one pair multiple days. And so on the 4th of July, we both changed into our clean
new
pair.
pants.
And then we were in the splash zone for the marinara sauce and got covered in marinara. And we were like,
Smelled like pizza.
well, dang it. So now we don't have any clean pairs of pants.
Yeah. So I agree.
More pants.
More pants.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's something I wish I would have packed? I bought bug spray there. I probably wish I would have brought a bottle. Apparently Sherri did and didn't tell us.
No, I didn't know it was there.
So funny.
Secret.
Literally, because I was unpacking my bag and I was like, are you kidding? This was in there?
Crazy. You guys, almost 150, over 150 people have basically been with us the whole time. That's insane.
63 thumbs up. That's really good.
63 thumbs up. Thanks, you guys. And we'll go back. Kevin said roughly 390 given so far. We'll have to go back and do the math. You guys are unbelievable. I love you guys. I love you guys so much.
Did you read the comments though? People
They were
are
really nice.
donating to help you make them smile.
See?
Okay, that's really kind.
What a great...
And I'm very grateful. I don't want to be resentful, but like I'm just mad at you because you said you weren't going to do that.
That's true. Thanks, LeggLife community. You guys are always amazing. A little bit. It's okay. Lying is okay if it's for the greater good.
The leg
I think the leg lie. The leg lie is when you lie for the good of another person.
Don't help him.
Thank you, Sherri. You know what? Maybe we'll keep Sherri around for another season on LeggLife. Auburn is such a kind and humble human.
Oh,
See, people love you.
I spelled human wrong.
Yeah, her last name was actually Huhma. Friends, it's been so fun. This is, gosh, an hour and 45 minutes. You guys have hung out with us. And so we want to continue to do these live streams as we travel. We're going to, again, Barrow end of this month, which I absolutely cannot wait for. I think it's going to be such a unique experience. Kind of like Skagway Inn. It's a place where just not many people get to go as independent travelers, you know?
Right.
And so, and plus, we're all going to jump into the Arctic Ocean, right? Super chat if you guys want to see these two jumping in. No, I'm joking. Don't do that.
With my Reynolds, I think it would be terrible.
That's true. You should not jump in the
I
Arctic
should
Ocean.
not do things
But
that
Auburn-
would make me very cold. Also, she is not easy.
What if the Arctic Ocean fused your ribs back together and you were instantly healed like a baptism? No, maybe not.
Face.
Just popped in to say hi. I usually watch all the videos in the morning. Glad you're okay, Auburn.
Thank you.
Awesome. Was I at dance camp or did I make a quick trip to Alaska in all camo to boot Auburn off the bike path? We'll never know. Michaela shows up,
She's like hiding behind a tree.
gives one comment. Just
She's like stuck a stick in your bike.
if we go back and watch the video clip, all you see is like one arm just come out.
Well, you do see
Push.
an arm. I don't know if it's mine.
Well. My, how the turntables have turned. So, all right, friends, we're gonna go. It's been so fun hanging out with you guys. I hope this was helpful. It was fun for us to do, right?
Yeah.
Stop.
Look at that cruise yet?
Safer than biking.
Safer than biking. How about this? If you come on the viewer cruise, I promise no electric bike excursions in Cabo. Deal?
What about salsa and salsa?
We will do salsa and salsa if you come on the cruise. When is Auburn going to start live streaming? Oh, we've talked about that. That's a good question.
Why?
We're not going to put her on the spot, you guys. You guys are already so generous.
He also wanted me to live stream with an author.
Still do.
And I
Yeah,
was
yesterday.
like,
He's like, yeah, let's set it up.
Have you met me?
It's been a very informative vlog. Hope you visit Alaska someday. I hope you guys do too. And I hope here's my one takeaway. Here's my challenge to you. If you take one thing away from this video, it's that there are a lot of different ways to see Alaska. And maybe you've seen the town of Skagway or the town of Juneau one way, which is on a cruise ship. There are other ways to see it. And those ways are not that difficult to make happen. If you want help figuring out what an Alaska vacation would look like, you can always send us an email. It's just LeggLife@gmail.com. Happy to send you guys links to all the people that we used, booked, places we stayed, all of that. But the trip that we just went on, you can do this. Like if you're coming to Alaska, you can do what we did.
Yeah.
There was nothing that we did that was exclusive to us. It was not a terribly expensive trip, but it was a trip that we will remember for the rest of our life. I mean, for goodness sakes, a mom and a baby whale.
It costs less than a Alaska cruise, right?
Our trip cost less than an Alaska cruise.
Mhm.
Yep, our trip cost less than an Alaska cruise, significantly less.
Yeah.
And what a cool experience. So,
Yeah.
all right, friends, love you guys a whole bunch. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you guys. Tomorrow on our next LeggLife video. Bye, friends. Oh, hey, Justin, if you're still here, it's an inside joke. You guys, you'll get it someday. How do I end this?